and I'm heading up some of the organization of the conference. And I'm based at the University of Cape Town, but also on the board of BioWatch and a partner of the Seed Knowledge Initiative. So all of those are co-hosts of this conference. And we conceptualized it as a space where people could come together and learn and share and get excited by each other's work and experiences. And I think we're doing that. I think there's a really vibrant energy in the room. Everyone that I've spoken to has commented on that. I mean, someone just said to me, this is not one of those boring conferences. You know, there's just something exciting going on in every space. So that's, I think, fantastic. I mean, you know, we've got a whole range of different players, from farmers through to civil society organizations, through to academics and some policymakers. And I think it's created a wonderful energy. I mean, the other thing that I think agroecology does, it's a positive movement. It's not necessarily, it's about critiquing, but it's also about alternatives and looking forward. And I think that energizes people. And we can see it in the audience. We can see that we saw it in the organization of the conference, where people just wanted to do things, you know, volunteered without payment even. You know, I want to do the food, I want to do this, I want to do the recycling. And I think we see that as well in the delegates. So people are just passionate. It touches their heart. They feel it from their gut. So I think it's a very good start, and it's not the first time that people are talking about agroecology, but it's the first time that a space like this is being convened in South Africa, where people across different sectors are talking in different ways about agroecology. For me, though, I think one of the highlights is this crossing over between the arts and sciences. I think it creates a very different kind of energy and thinking, because it's unusual and it's not expected, and it makes people think in different ways. So I think that's worked really, really well. It's been a highlight to have the poets in the sessions, and to bring the farmers into some of the research spaces as well. It's not always easy because people speak different languages. The information presented is sometimes quite technical. So it is a challenging space, but I think we can't not do it because it's challenging. And I think there's some good steps that have been made towards trying to really bring that together and prevent it from being an exclusive sort of ivory tower space. Yeah, I think we're seeing growing political support in some respects. We heard from Katarina Patello, who used to be with the FAO, she's just retired, expressing very strong support for agroecology, which is quite new for the FAO in many ways. There was also criticism that the FAO, at the same time as adopting agroecology, are also promoting climate-smart agriculture, which is antithetical, really, to what agroecology is about. So it's a complex animal. But certainly at the international level, I think things are moving ahead. At the national level, we're plodding along. I'm not even sure if we're plodding, actually. Agroecology doesn't feature on the national agenda, and that's a real problem. It's a real concern. We had the City of Cape Town making a commitment, actually, to review their urban agriculture policy and to ensure that agroecology is embedded in that policy. So that's a fantastic step forward. We hope they'll honor it. I think the province is also trying to get their head around agroecology. But at the national level, there isn't a single national department in the room, even though many were invited. And I think that's a really bad reflection on where we're at as a country in terms of thinking about agriculture differently, in terms of addressing climate change. I mean, how serious is the government in addressing climate change if it's not thinking differently about agriculture? So we've got a lot of work to do on that front in terms of changing the minds of policymakers and making agroecology something that politicians and government officials see as something relevant for their own work and to promote the development principles and the poverty alleviation principles that the national government is supporting and pushing through. And seeing that this isn't a backward step. You know, agroecology is not something that is only confined to subsistence farmers. It's a forward-looking step, it's a modern approach, and it can work. And we've got a lot of work to convince government that that's the case. Well, I think in a way it's starting to achieve what we were hoping it would do, which is bringing people together to have conversations, to strategize together, to build a movement around agroecology, not only within South Africa, but across the region. It's not, you know, some of that work has been going on for several years. So in some cases, it's just cementing those bonds or strengthening them. In other cases, it's building new networks. So certainly that it will achieve that just by virtue of people coming together and talking and exchanging emails and learning from each other. And, you know, in terms of shifting paradigms, I think there's a longer-term vision which will come in time. But hopefully it can contribute towards a paradigm shift. And hopefully it can contribute towards inspiring our youth to do things differently. And I think there's quite a nice bunch of young people at this conference who are very excited by the possibilities of engaging in agroecology as part of their careers and part of their futures. And I think we're starting to see that, I mean, not necessarily because of the conference, but these sorts of events help to inspire people. And I hope we're doing that.